Hey, thank you so much for the subscription and thanks for the cheers as we get started here this morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. We're going to be journeying back through the enchanted forests of Dolmenwood, and this is episode 22 of our old school essentials actual play. Thrilled to have you all with us. It's episode 22 if you're watching on YouTube. It's like 24 or something if you're listening to the podcast. Don't ask me why that happened. This is the way it is. So if you're joining us for the first time, just know that our community extends beyond the stream here. Oh, what happened to all my people? Well, there we go. I was on the wrong one. So if you're joining us here for the first time, we do have a community campaign that we would invite you to get in on. Way that you would participate in that is by joining our Discord server. The link to that is in the video description, or the description of the podcast will take you there if you're catching this on a replay. We run community campaign games. Those are 5e games that are drop in, drop out. It gives you the opportunity to create a character and progress them, level them up, get them all their stuffs, and craft their story through games that our DMs put on. That you can sign up for in our Discord server. So just join that and let us know that you're looking for a game, and we'll point you in the right direction and get you all set up with what you need to do to participate in that. So I think we're going to turn our attention right away to our story at hand. I'm Alex. I'll be the game master for this morning, and I'm joined here by Dawson playing Topsy the Grimalkin, Issac playing Friar Fitzpatrick, Ryan playing Sir Geoffrey the Knight, and Chris playing Thomas the Minstrel. Moreen, who plays Lillibeth, is out today. We're getting some illness kind of going through the ranks here, so we will just fade Lillibeth into the background as we play, and just assume that she is continuing and journeying on with the group. So our session here this morning, we're going to be picking up play on the 5th of Reed Rhyme, and it is autumn. The characters previously had delved into a faerie mound off near Lankshorn and discovered that when they emerged from it, that 2 months had passed. They're no longer in the balmy summer days of Lillibeth. They are now in the early days of autumn, and as they are traveling underneath the boughs of trees, and they could see the changing of the leaves and the chillness in the air. And they've made their way back to Lankshorn, where they have been spending some time, a few days, just trying to get their heads straight and learn what has transpired. And they realize now that they are walking into a world that has largely written them off as dead, and a lot of things have happened in these past 2 days. So I'm going to give you all just a summary of some of the things that have happened, some of the things that have changed. So one thing that is perfectly clear to you is that Paulith is gone. She is not, of course, waiting there. She was there with the Friar's dog, waiting for you outside the faerie mound when you went in. She, of course, was not there when you came out. There's no real way to know where she went. She's not like somebody that was like super connected with anyone in Lankshorn. At best, maybe you could go back to the Droon and talk to them about her whereabouts, but probably a little bit nervous about that because of what it might look like in terms of where you were traveling with her and she was a runaway. So, but not really too sure where she is. Her whole motivation was to go and find a witch to apprentice under. So wherever her destination is, that could probably, there's probably linked to that motivation. You've discovered that your cart is no longer in Lankshorn. After it was presumed that you were dead, it was essentially sold off. And you're probably not going to recoup anything from that for, the stable master. You weren't paid up, and so that they're totally within their rights under Baron Hogwarsh's law to do that, and that is what it is. I don't know that you had a whole lot in the cart that was of much value anymore anyway, just some firewood and things like that, but Still a little bit of a loss. The big stuff. Okay, another thing is that Seartell, Madame Shantywood's agent in the town, is no longer hanging about. It would seem that either his business here has concluded, maybe he's gone back to Madame Shantywood to give a report, maybe he's gone off to do some other assignment in some other town. Not too sure what has happened to him. He also not super connected in town, so it doesn't seem in talking with people that anybody really knows anything about him or where he went.
Let me know if it's yummy.
The big thing here that you're going to discover is that the High Wold is on the verge of breaking out into civil war. There is an accusation by Lord Griffius Malbleet, who you are, at least the name of whom you are very well acquainted, is accusing his half-brother, Lord Shadgor Ramius, who is the Bregel lord from, you've heard the story that Baron Hogwarsh had split Goat Country into two kind of equal halves because there's a dispute over the bloodline of who is the true inheritor of the bloodline that extends all the way back to the cherished hero Hraggle. And so this dispute, it appears, has become inflamed because Malbleet is accusing Ramius of kidnapping one of his sons and handing him over to the Droon. You all had become aware that there was a half-Bregel child that the Burkmaster of Lankshorn was apparently stowing away in his attic. You came to understand or learn that, but you never talked directly to the Burkmaster about that. So I'm not going to make any assumptions about what you would have done with that in these past 2 days, and maybe nothing yet. But you're learning about this story, and you're maybe drawing some connections that maybe this is all a part of the same thing, right? Or the same misunderstanding. But those are the facts that you know about where this conflict is originating. You also have heard that people have seen High Hankel, the capital of this kind of area, that Baron Hogwarsh has been sending out emissaries to the two goat folk lords in attempts to try to get them to talk to each other. So your sense is that this conflict is in its very early stages yet, and maybe I may be overstating it. They're not at war yet, but like there's a sense that they're going to be, because these accusations are being passed out, and there's been like more of Malbleet's like military troops have been moving through Lankshorn, like he's maybe positioning people around in preparation for something. So there's just a lot of movement. There's a lot of anxious energy in Lankshorn right now over the prospect of being in the middle of a conflict between these Bregels. What else? I think those are kind of like the big things. So we're going to say that it is the morning of the 5th of Reed Rhyme. You went and picked up your moonlight short sword from the blacksmith in town. A full moon, probably a couple of full moons have passed since you were in town, so he has your stuff all ready for you, and so you go and pick that up in these 2 days that you've been in town. So why don't we start, maybe like we could just go around and have each of you kind of briefly touch on like what kinds of things your character might have been doing as they were mulling about town, or like what this rest and relaxation that they've been going through these past 2 days, what that kind of looked like. And thank you so much for the follow, Skull Kid. We appreciate that. Thanks for hanging out with us here this morning. Yeah, why don't we start maybe with Thomas? What's been going on with Thomas these past couple days?
The past couple days, I would say that Thomas would be somewhat mourning the loss of Silver. He probably would be, I don't want to say slightly down, but maybe a little more down than usual. Probably not too awful talkative about it. Maybe spending a little bit of time in the inn, having some drinks, perhaps playing some music to attempt to lift his own spirits as much as anybody else's. Other than that, maybe just, doing a little bit of information gathering or whatever, what's been going on in town over the last couple months. Trying to get a bead on what the local Burkmeister has been up to any word on the street about us, I guess, and what he maybe has been doing as it involves with, the mission that we had and all of this kind of stuff. But I think that probably would be a full couple days.
Yeah.
And getting this information over some drinks with loosened lips and that kind of stuff with some of the locals.
Yeah. So as far as you guys, like, everybody thought that the party that went to the fairy mound to deal with the corrupted unicorn had died, but the fairy unicorn disappeared. So everyone assumed that you were successful in dealing with it, but that everyone perished. They had definitely sent out like a search party to try to find remnants of like where you all went, but never found you, never found any bodies. The Burkmaster, you'll probably hear that people have suggested that he's fallen into a depression. He's been pretty negligent. He's passed off a lot of the work of managing the town to some of the other townsfolk that sat on that council that you met with, but he's been kind of holed up at his home. We'll say here, let's have you, maybe you'll learn a rumor, I'm going to say, during this time.
Okay.
So let me just pull up, I've got a table that I'll roll on and see what little bit or scrap of information you get.
Yeah, and one other thing if anybody had seen Paulith, or when was the last time, give a description of her, that she would have come back in town and whatever, that would have been one other piece of information I would have been seeking.
I'm going to roll randomly to see if anybody... Yeah, okay. Somebody saw, like very early on, you'll find, maybe we'll say the Grimalkin innkeeper saw her briefly. Like she had stopped into town and tried to get into their kitchen to take some food, and they like shoot her off or whatever. And they said that she had a dog with her. So it matches the description of what you expect, but it seemed like maybe she came into town to kind of scrounge around for some food and then like left.
And that's like 6 weeks ago or something like that.
Yeah.
And towards the beginning of when we went missing.
Yeah, and it's been long enough that like that's really all that they can recall of that. It wasn't really a significant event for them to recall, so they do vaguely remember seeing her, but it had this like small little incident, but they couldn't tell you like what direction she headed out of town for or whatever.
At least she was last seen alive, moving around. Didn't, die somewhere. That's good.
And during this time when you're like just chit-chatting people in the taverns and such, you hear something that would probably catch your ear, just given some of your interests in stones and whatnot. But you overhear there's like a table of people that are talking about a place out in the woods where mortals have been known to become married to beings of other stock, including fairies. A great stone slab in the woods to the west that the locals call the Troth Stone. And almost Troth, yeah, the Troth Stone. There's something about this story that kind of reminds you of the tale of Chide and how his soul was intertwined with a fairy. And so maybe the powers of the stone have a similar type of effect.
Okay. So Troth Stone, and it's spelled like betrothed without the
Yeah.
E. Okay.
Yeah. Troth.
Interesting. Okay. And that was to the west?
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah, and I see Skull Kid is asking about Silver. So Silver was an elf that was with the party. And in the previous session, if you go back on the YouTube or watch or listen to the podcast, maybe I won't spoil what exactly happened. They're not dead, but they made a significant decision that definitely helped out the group in their hunt for the corrupted unicorn that had been harassing this town. So that was their most recent quest. All right, let's turn next maybe to Sir Geoffrey. What has Geoffrey been up to these past couple days?
Geoffrey's, probably experiencing a little bit of time lag. He's a little confused. He's a little lost. His team doesn't really have a mission right now, so he's a little bit, out of sorts. Silver's decision also has him a little bit throwed. So I think he's just kind of, milling about town a little bit aimlessly, maybe also hitting a bar here or there, but probably, having seeing like the troops kind of move about, come in, come out, and the fact that he sees, maybe that is his people, he's a knight, that he would sort of try to talk to them, see what's going on, try to understand where they're going, what they're doing, and kind of build camaraderie a little bit with those people and just kind of see what's up.
So for the most part, they are Bregel troops. Any attempt to talk to them would you'd probably get blown off a bit. Like they're under pretty strict orders, probably not to talk or divulge too much about where they're headed and those types of things. But you will notice in your interactions with them that a lot of the movement seems to be going either north or west out of town.
Not too much other than that Geoffrey would be doing.
Awesome. Let's go over next to Friar Fitzpatrick. And thank you, Jeff, for the re-roll. So you guys have a re-roll in the pocket here.
Friar Fitzpatrick during this time, I think, is a bit sad that he lost his friend, Silver. A bit confused, as the other kind of adventurers kind of went away. He's a bit confused why this little Grimalkin is sticking around. But other than that, I think he defaults back to, because that's the one that he was really could care the least about. But other than that, I think he would default back to what he used to do. I think he would go to his brother, take 25 gold coins from the coffers, and he would go around town to the less needy and start talking with them. And kind of spreading the wealth a bit to the less needy of the town. Maybe not so much like trying to fish for information, more so just kind of putting people at ease, getting a sense of what the ground level of what the town, what it's going through, because he really hasn't had a chance to do his what he feels is his true mission is to help others. So he's taking the opportunity to do it now.
Yeah. Lankshorn probably doesn't have like a huge impoverished population. Most of the poor in the region probably head south to High Hinkle, but there would be some people that you'd be able to dole out coins to and help. And a lot of the anxiety is it's going to be about the possibility of war is huge on people's minds, and especially happening right now, as with only a few months left before winter. There's a lot of concern about resources and food being diverted for military reasons, and what that might mean for prices and just general scarcity. So there's just a lot of anxiety about what the future holds if these, Lankshorn being primarily human town, there's sort of like a resentment a little bit about like our lives are going to be impacted so much by this civil war, that like this whole bloodline thing with Hragel, there's not a lot of reverence to that for the humans. Like they generally get along well with the Bregels and respect them, but there's a little bit of a trivial feeling about what their conflict is really all about, especially these two. They're supposed to be brothers, like why can't they, you're hearing all sorts of different things, like people just wishing that they could make amends and make it better. And probably also you're hearing a lot of doubt about Baron Hogwarsh's ability to get these two to talk. Baron Hogwarsh has a reputation for being a bit of a drunk. He likes women. He doesn't like governing. People generally say he's a nice he seems like a nice guy. He does donate a lot of money. He does some good charitable things, But as far as being a leader, a lot of people will badmouth him because his decision to deal with the Breggles was a lazy one. He just thought that the quickest solution was to split this territory and give one half of it to each side, and that they would be satisfied with that. A lot of people look at him as a bit of a fool. So
the one final thing, I think he would have a follow-up question about High Hankel and just ask people what they've heard of it.
Generally, in Lankshorn, people are gonna all the city folk. We're small town folk here, and that be careful in High Hankel. Watch your purse strings and lots of sin there. That's why Baron Hogwarts likes it so much. There's brothel on every corner, and a lot of hyperbole probably about, like, you probably don't believe some of this, but they'll also tell you that there's a powerful, like, the reason to watch your purse strings is there's a powerful thieves guild there. And, given what they already think about Baron Hogwarts and how he administers the High Wold, let alone his, the city where he holds power, a lot of people think maybe the thieves guild kind of runs the show in town and not the officials of the city. So let's go next over to Topsy, the Grimalkin.
Probably after the events have transpired, she'd probably get her money from the group saying, hey, there you go, good job, move along. And after hearing all the more local news, like random points throughout the day, you'd find her just like coming up to one of you just like, hey, if you ever need any work, I'm always available. Just anything you need, anything you want. I mean, listen, I've seen you had a lot of coin problems. Here, give me 1 second, and then she'll scuttle off, and then remember that they have a chest they have to unlock. So she's gonna go on a mission to find a master locksmith to like prove her worth, because this is the most fun she's had in decades.
Yeah. I think what you're going to discover is that there is not a locksmith in town that has the skills to open that. There's like somebody that you come across that can do simple things on houses and such, but like this lock is complicated. But they would refer you that there is somebody in High Hankel that you could go to for this purpose. Let me see if I've got a name for you. They will refer you to Dimothy Dunwallow.
Probably after hearing that name initially, she let out a chuckle. And another way she'd probably try to get her way into the group. I mean, that poor weird religious man seems very upset about something. It probably has something to do with his daughter or his dog or something. So I envision like the remainder of the time she would be like in her cat form scouring the city for this lost dog.
Yeah, unfortunately you won't come up with any that specific dog, although you'll find many dogs that look very similar to it because it was bred in Lankshorn and sold by the keeper of hounds here. So there's very similar looking dogs around. But with that, let us fast forward then to the morning of the 5th of Reed Rhyme. So you are all waking up. There is a bracing wind that presses against the inn where you are staying, this little, what is it called? The Hornstoats Rest. And so you're coming down the creaking stairs down to the little dining area. There's a dining table laid out and a couple of overstuffed chairs. There is that older man. I think one of you played chess with him. He's back at his chessboard, just kind of moving chess pieces around and whatnot. And Marjorie Stallowmaid, the maybe 50-year-old woman who owns this place, little twinkle in her eye, she's serving up some kind of a hot beverage, a tea that's being poured out into little porcelain cups around the table. And there's some apple pie on the table. It looks like it's fresh. There's still steam kind of rising up from it. Some delicious smells in the air of cinnamon and clove. Some different pastries and things laid out. Big bowl of apples prominently in the middle of the table. She welcomes you all to take some complimentary breakfast before you head out. But this is the first time that you're all together. after taking some rest and relaxation, probably sharing some of this stuff that you have heard or gathered from your time in the town, and maybe engaging in some conversation about like what's next. You don't have a clear pressing quest or anything like that you have to get off to do. In fact, a lot of the people that relied on you for things 2 months ago have largely either left or, in the case of the Burkmaster, you haven't seen him at all.
Alex, just a quick question. Read rhyme, what is that the equivalent to? Is that like September time frame?
Yeah,
it kind
probably September. It's like it's the very first month of autumn.
Of autumn. Good morning, friends.
Huh.
What do we do now?
Well, something that I would like to do, possibly if you are all up for it. I've heard that there is a large, religious section in High Hankel, and I personally would like to go see that, as well as maybe I hear there's a bit more impoverished people there. I feel like maybe we could do some good there if you are all up for it.
I'm not opposed to that, brother, but I do feel like it's possible we may be able to do some help here, knowing that it seems that there is a war brewing, and it seems like we have the unfortunate or fortunate position of perhaps having some information about the reasons why. Like, I fear that perhaps this child, this missing, kidnapped child of Lord Malbleet may be, this child that the Burkmaster thinks is his daughter's.
The Burkmaster has a child?
Hello. Hello, you.
The old man is like, what's that?
Well, I'll not necessarily telegraphing this, but just saying to the group that if we're looking to do good, if that's our ultimate goal, that nobody's going to benefit from this war, and I don't know if if the parties involved are reasonable, but I do know that we may know something about one of the causes, and so we may be able to play a role in avoiding this war or keeping it short or something like that.
Now, Malbleed is in High Hankel. Is that right?
I believe so.
Malbleet would be at Red Wraith Manor to the north. I think you passed by it when you went to the wizard's cottage.
Was High Hankel the capital we were?
Yeah, so High Hankel is to the south of Lankshorn. It is the old capital of Dolmenwood.
So yeah, I guess what Geoffrey is saying is he would like to hunt down the Burkmaster, find out the fate of the child, and find out if that is the child that Lord Malbleet is looking for and is starting war over.
Well, if you ask me, I don't think you guys got even paid yet, so that's a pretty great hit if you ask me. I mean, you paid me, of course, but I'm saying y'all haven't been paid.
Right? We paid all the help, but we never got paid. We haven't seen the Burkmaster, right?
Yeah, I think you spent half of what it was that you would have gotten. So if I'm remembering correctly, there's like 150 gold that you could still go and recover.
Well, I definitely want to collect our money before we go. But do we really want to get involved with all this? I mean, if I'm recalling correctly, what the wizard was doing up in that cottage was attempting to separate.
That's Topsy sitting there.
Separate
Scandal.
parts of a person. So it's, I mean, am I thinking about that correctly? That the Burkmeister was hoping for this wizard to discover some magics to basically pull the Bragel out of his grandchild?
That's what I'm assuming.
And if that's the case,
I don't think anybody here is a good actor. Master is acting in bad faith. I think that the lords, Malbleet and the other one are acting in bad faith. But to my brother's point, if we're looking to help people, if that's what we want to do as a group, everybody's going to suffer from this war over all this BS. And like I said, if we don't want to get involved, like I'm a knight, right? I tend to think in these types of, things. I'm learning how to get by in this new kind of world where I'm not beholden to a lord. But to me, that seems like if we can find a way to stop this war, it seems like everybody's going to suffer. People that have nothing to do with it. All these good people of this town, all the good people of the next town. It just seems to me if we can stop it or find a way to keep it from affecting all these people, it just seems the right thing to do.
Well, that sounds very noble of you. There's a whole wizard trying to split a person in half? Whoa.
Excuse me. Hello.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, you're still around.
Look, yeah. I was meaning to tell you, I'd rather go find that someone to open up your box. There was no one in town, but they're all in Highhaven or wherever the city's name I forget. Also, your dog, not in the city.
Oh. Yeah.
They might be with your daughter or something. By the way, aren't you less concerned about her at all?
Daughter. Not a
Yes, your
daughter.
daughter. You left a whole kid unsupervised for a whole 2 months on the side of a graveyard. That's kind of messed up, man.
Okay. Brother, do we have coin for this fellow? Maybe we could. Thank you
No,
for your time.
no, It's free of charge. Tell you what, free of charge. Don't even worry about it.
Did you happen to know maybe where what was their name? The people that came with you?
No, I think they were just higher ons. I haven't seen them before in my life.
Oh, the one that helped us. That was a very strong one that I really wanted to talk to about joining us. Everyone.
Hey, Shank.
Shank, yeah, yeah,
It's like
Shank.
pops his head in.
Hey,
Doesn't he still have your sword?
Just kidding.
no, that doesn't. But yes, I heard his name in my head for a moment. It was Shank. Yes, have you seen Shank? That is what you can do. You can go find Shank for us.
But I already looked for your dog. I mean, he's just a dude. I mean, he's expensive. I'm free.
Look, I do have to say that the kitty has a point.
Here, let me tell you this. You don't even have to worry about me half the time. Like, I can carry your stuff, like, almost free of charge. I mean, you barely need to feed me. I mean, I'll need an occasional rat or, like, beaver or two, but I'm all right. And tell you what, I'll even lend you my expertises when it's required.
What are the?
This is like, I've been known to be a little sneaky like. I mean, like, she'll like walk behind like the table, and as she's going from the table, she switches from her normal cat form to that of a cat. So human cat to an actual literal cat.
I've seen this before. Yes. Do we remember the last
Yes.
Grimalkin? Or one of the Grimalkins that we met the first one, actually.
Yes, it stole all of our gold.
Yes, I remember that.
Meow meow meow. You any of you speak? I think it's Yule.
No,
No,
I do not.
No, unfortunately not.
she will shift back into her normal humanoid form. I mean, if you ever need any information in town, cats are the best people to ask. They can tell you all sorts of stories. You'll never have a rat in your camp again. Keep it nice and clean. Pretty great.
He's gonna kind of look over to his brother.
I suppose even if we say no.
I just imagine we could use some help anyway. He's other than being really talkative and annoying you, he's not harmed anything. So keep talking, kitty.
Oh, I can keep going. Oh, are any of you hungry?
Yes.
Great. And like she'll like clasp the friar's hands like in hers. Now tell me, what is your favorite thing to eat?
I like smoked sausages.
Smoked sausages.
Why did I tell you? What are you doing?
Nothing. Just think on how that tastes just for a moment. Close your
Yeah.
eyes and think. Tell me what you see and smell. Come on.
Oh. I smell wet fur.
Then as you're starting to describe it, like slowly, the sense of smoked sausages starts to fill the air.
Oh.
And then all you
Oh,
have to do,
I actually do smell it.
well, open your hands, silly, and there before you stands one single link of smoked sausage.
Yes. It's got a bit of weight to it. Mmm.
Uh-huh.
The old
Uh-huh.
man is like, you got one of those for me.
Are you
I'll get-
hungry?
I love smoked sausage.
Well, you gonna eat it?
Me?
It's for you.
But he's hungry.
He's had like 4. I gave him some of the past. He's fine.
But I want some more.
And I'm gonna do this because I haven't got to do this yet. But he, like, the friar, like, has this like smoked sausage in his hand, and he wields it in a way that you've all never seen. It's like almost like he has like almost like a weapon in his hand. He's able to just kind of flourish it up in the air and catch it and look at it and stuff.
And he goes, this is not a trick, right? You're not. Oh.
Nope. It's going to take the smallest bit of smoked sausage and hold it out to his brother. Brother, would you like some?
Yeah, I'm just gonna jump right into it. Delicious.
It is
Brother.
a smoked sausage.
This is a fine smoked sausage.
He's going to start eating it.
Really good.
I'm sorry. Here you go, Thomas. I'm sure you want some too.
Just
Is-
open it
I
with
will pass.
No.
Is there something else you want, Thomas? Is there
if-
anything you prefer?
Is this magic or sleight of hand?
You tell me.
Well, I don't
I don't
know.
She'll do like a little spin around. I don't got any sausages in my back pocket.
Did you pull them out of?
Yeah, right.
No. Ugh. Ah.
Yeah.
A little bit of litter box.
Oh, big man. No, if you must know, it's a little bit of the fairy man.
Oh.
Mm.
You know how your ugly friend can just like do a little with their face and they look horrible? It's like that.
Hmm. So this really isn't real.
Oh, it's real. Bite it. Just keep eating.
Does it
Okay.
work with just
Picturing people waving sausages.
Yeah.
does this
yeah.
does this work with just food or other things?
Well, listen, for my many years being on your mortal realm, it's been kind of boring. But food, you fellas have some fantastic cuisine, like that of almost rivaling the fairy. I mean, I can eat the occasional wrap from time to time, but sometimes you see me a little extra, like pastries. Oh, they're awesome. So I kind of made it my goal to find whatever I can, and then whenever I eat it, I can learn how to make it myself. You know, we Grimalkin are experts at making biscuits. You know, it's kind of my goal just to bring little happy, joy, nice little treats. Sausage pretty good, right? Huh?
I'm not like, this isn't something where like I owe you a favor later or like you have a piece of my soul or something. It's nothing like that, right? Is this why you're here? Is this why you're here?
What?
Those are just things that one true God says about fairies. They don't all steal your soul, right? I mean, you don't, right?
I don't know. No, I'm not here to take your soul and I don't know. What would I even do with it? I mean, you're the one true God fella and kind of, keep our distance. You guys are a little mean.
I'm not mean.
But
You can.
you didn't. You didn't eat the sausage right away. That was kind of rude.
Everybody's picking up on you joshing me around all the time. Right?
I did.
That's right, young man. Maybe we should keep an eye on him from getting in too much trouble.
What? Wait, we? There is no we. What?
Yes, because it's only you.
Topsy, how
Yes.
knowledgeable are you in general of things fairy?
Well,
Is your knowledge of fairy generally is it general or very specific to
well,
you and your kind?
I'd say more specifically to where I'm from, which is a little bit different than the elves. So it's more of a, you're going to laugh at this name. I'm from a place called Catland. You'll never believe what's there.
Cats and land.
And that's why you're the smart one. It's more separated. I mean, I tell you, other Grimalkin, they are just the worst. They're really selfish, just want to do all their own things, don't even care for you. That's why I like you mortals a little more better. You're more open.
So, you might be aware of a Grimalkin fairy that their domain actually is right here. So,
You know something. I think I just remembered something from my time here.
so King Puskin is originally from the land of fairy, but has he loves the mortal world, and it is said that he has now taken up permanent residence here in and around Lankshorn, kind of specifically to the south, like in the area between here and the High Wold. You've never seen him or met him, but he is sort of interwoven into some folklore that still remains, and it is said that the road to the south is sort of his road, and it's important to, if you're going to be traveling on that road, bring offerings for King Puskin.
That's if we head to High Wold.
Yeah, if you go to High Hinkle.
Hi, Henkel, brother. Hi, Henkel. just because I want to do this.
I'm down, brother. I'm not against it.
If you do want to go to High Ankle, there's a lovely locksmith I heard about there by the name of Timothy Dungwallow, who could probably
You're
get your...
making up all these names.
Timothy Dunwall. That sounds like a made-up name.
It is, right, brother? It does.
Timothy. A strange name.
Have you ever been to High Hankle before, Topsy?
I don't think I have. It's been a couple centuries. It's been a bit.
How old are you?
Hey, a lady never tells.
Oh, lady, ma'am.
But if you were to get me a birthday present, I'd say, 610 years is pretty great.
You're 610 years old.
Oh, yeah. We'll live forever.
Well, I guess, yeah, if you're fairy, I suppose. It's wild.
So what do you say, brother? I say the Grimalkin can help. I think he can be of use to us.
Oh,
She'll stare at you with the big old cat eyes, just like...
Those kitty eyes. They're so cute.
I guess if you're free, then okay. Yes, of course. Yes, if everyone, yeah.
I promise I won't let you down. This is great. Oh, this is great. So anyways, what's this about a wizard trying to separate someone?
Speaking of that, now we've welcomed the kitty into the fold, but we still have to decide what our next move is. So, I am with the group. This is my family. But yeah, my vote is to I would like to find out more about where the Burkmeister is and see if we can maybe avoid this war. But I'm down with going to High Hankle and looking at the religiosity as well. Don't worry about it.
Well, and
I just more so want to go to be disappointed, but it's that's besides the point. I think maybe
you think you'll be disappointed, brother?
Yes, probably. But I'm sorry, Thomas. What?
Well, I was just going to say that I believe it was High Hankle that I suggested that in High Hankle we could find individuals to hire to go to that castle that we had heard about.
How far is that from where we are at now? Do we know?
And like 50 miles or something north-ish. And I am intrigued by the brothel on every corner aspect of High Hankle.
Oh.
You wanted to be disappointed. So, are you all in agreement that you'd like to go and see the Burkmaster, at the very least get your money, and then take it from their likely destination, High Hankle, to do all variety of tasks that you have before you?
Sounds about right.
So it's probably about, we'll say it's like 9 a.m. or something like that by the time you head out from the Hornstoats Rest. You make your way to the center of town, where you will come before a tall lime-white manor with storm-racked elms in the front yard, completely ringed by a wrought iron gate. You've been here before. The Burkmaster's butler, or his servant, will meet you at the door and sort of look a little bit astonished upon seeing you at the door, but will make some comment that had heard that you were back in town, as they had made contact with some of those other hirelings that you had on board, and was expecting that you would drop by at some point in the coming days, and had been instructed to take you before the Burkmaster as soon as you were back. And so he escorts you through the manor hall up to his office, and there you'll see that kind of rotund man, the densely curled auburn hair. He's dressed in his voluptuous purple velvet tunic, and he's wearing a medallion that bears a silver boar's head. And his face is just racked, like he's got bags under his eyes. Maybe he even looks like he's lost a little bit of weight since you last saw him, but not in a healthy way. Like his skin is just kind of sagging a bit, and he looks like just kind of like hunched over at his desk. And he kind of looks up at you as you enter into the office, and he just kind of like somberly nods, and he says, "Ah, you've returned. Likely wanting your reward then." And he like pulls open a drawer, and there's a bag of coin. 150 gold, was it? Here. And he just sets it down on the table.
I'll move to grab it and move back with everybody else.
I've heard a bit
You
of the
see
story
Moors for the wear.
Oh, don't. Personal troubles, my friend. I have a lot on my mind these days. You've lightened the load a little bit, though, with dealing with the unicorn, so on behalf of the town, I thank you very much for everything that you have done. You've clearly been successful. I'm sorry about your friend. I hear that he is not returning.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate.
How are you holding up with this change? Some of the others that went out with you were quite upset by it and were making all sorts of demands for additional wages and such.
Well, the time difference.
I can only
Yeah,
imagine.
we'd like more wages.
I'm afraid I have nothing left to offer.
Right.
Seriously? Brother!
I like the way your brother thinks, Friar.
Oh, no.
This is the new me.
No, I don't like it. Why? Sorry about. Oh gosh, he's gonna look at him all just looking at. Is there anything we can help you with?
No, I don't think so. Thank you for your offer. It's just the
You want
weight
us
of the weight of the conflict before us.
About that, what do you think the conflict is about? What do you think could end it? It's so stressing us everyone out in town.
Well, I don't know. It's a heavy charge that Lord Malbleet is making against his brother. It's a family matter, one that I'm sure that Baron Hogwarsh will do what he can to get these two to talk. I just have to put my faith in the one true God that reason will prevail.
Do you have you had much dealings with Malbleet or Hogwash?
I report directly to Malbleet. I know he's very angry. I think he will stop at nothing for his family. You can just tell he's like repeating things that he's supposed to say, but like he does not. His heart is not in trying to sell you on that he's fully behind his master or whatever.
Oh man. Let me ask you, brother. Would you go to the ends of the earth to protect your family as well?
Me?
Or not you, brother. He puts his hand on the Burkmaster's, shoulder.
Oh,
He's like talking to him. He's,
He just like looks at you and kind of cocks his head, and he says, "You have no idea." Yes,
seems
of
it
course.
seems we're all in a pickle then, doesn't it?
What are you suggesting?
I'm just suggesting that that everyone in this situation, if they are looking to go to the ends of the earth to protect their own family, may find themselves in a situation where they may be hurting others' families.
He kind of like steps back from you, like he like removes your hand from his shoulder, and like you can see he walks over to like the entrance to the office, like the door to the he like looks out the hall and he's like looking around. He like closes the door, and he says, "Look, I am well practiced in innuendo. I'm a politician, after all. What is it that you are saying to me right now?"
I think Geoffrey's gonna put the cards on the table, and he's gonna say, we know about the child. We know that you're just trying to protect your family. We know that Malbleet is also trying to find the child. We know that everybody stands to get hurt. We're not going to give him up. We're not going to go, give him up to Lord Malbleet. But we kind of have a view into the situation, and we just want to keep everybody from getting hurt. Keep all the innocents from getting hurt in this situation. And we'd like to talk with him honestly about how everybody could win. That he can protect the child, but that everybody else doesn't need to get hurt.
There's like a little table off to the side that has maybe a few bottles of alcohol and wine and some glasses, and like he uncorks like a bottle of something that looks analogous to whiskey and pours himself a little drink, and he like drinks it real quick, and he says, "Of course, the wizard's cottage. I sent you there to deliver things, but you learned when he wasn't there to meet you, you learned. You cannot tell anybody about that he was here, my grandson.
We have had plenty of opportunity to speak, and we have not.
He is not here any longer.
We are acting on behalf of the people, and I fear we may be the only ones who are.
I don't know. I don't know where he went. He disappeared just after you went to the fairy mound 2 months ago. I had him here. I was trying to help him. there's something wrong with him. He's speaking in tongues. Nonsense.
What was the desired outcome of the ritual with the wizard for the child?
To cure him of his mind. I think his mind was addled. There's all sorts of stories about Malbleet. He believes himself to be a sorcerer of high power, but from what I hear, he's not very well practiced. He's just trying to assert his claim that his bloodline reaches all the way back to Hragel, who is known to possess all sorts of magical ability. He's trying to manifest his talents so that he can somehow suggest to the world, to the rest of goat folk country, that he is the true. I believe he's been experimenting on his own kin, including that of my grandson, my daughter's child, his child.
When the child disappeared, was there any signs of, foul play, or did it seem more like the child willingly left?
I don't know. It wasn't tied up or anything. I've kept a lock on the door to the attic. The servants knew not to go up there. He was just gone.
Was the lock off the door?
It was not, but I just don't know. There was this man. I remember there was this man right before you came to me. There was a man snooping about, trying to talk to me. Maybe he had something to do with it. I don't know.
I'm going to describe Sertel
And
see
like,
if it's him.
that's the man. I remember him.
I'm going to kind of turn to my party and be like, what do you guys think of this? Do we to echo, Thomas's thoughts, do we want to get involved, or do we want to just leave it at this, take our 150 gold and go?
We don't have much to go on here. If the boy left or was encouraged, there's no way to know whether this man escorted the child out or if the child left of his own volition. Could be he was being called back to his father Malbleet. You just simply have no way of knowing, and I fear the trail may be too old at this point to do much about this. I understand that things are tough, Burgmeister, but I will let you know that those that you rule over here are, I guess, disappointed, speaking in hushed tones of concern, that you have pulled back and away from your duties.
Of course, this whole thing is my fault. Maybe I should have come forward. Now it's too late. I can't.
Well, it's not necessarily your fault. You can't think of it in that way. The child came to be, you found him. He came to be under your ward. You were doing what you thought was best. You had no way of knowing that Lord Malbleet would start a war with his brother over this. I would say more, the people that would more have the power to stop it would be whoever knows where the child is now, and that's not us. So hopefully it is somebody that has the child's best interests in mind, but that is the best that we could hope.
What is exactly the beef between Malbleet and his brother? What
I thought they said they thought he kidnapped his child or something.
That is it. That is what Malbleet is putting out into the world to justify his movements as of late. The real reason is, of course, just simply power. The exclusive reign of all Bregel folk in Bregel country. There was peace for a long time under Ramius until Malbleet decided to stake his claim and dredge up the old documents and books that he has tracing their family lineage all the way back to Hragel, and making the claim that he is the true heir, or is of greater blood connection to Hragel than Ramius, his half-brother.
So you feel that maybe the child is just an excuse, that he would, it's a possibility that even Malbleet himself had absconded with the child as an excuse for war.
It could be. He has no proof other than a claim that this child is missing. I think given enough time, he will probably manufacture some kind of evidence. He's trying to convince Baron Hogwarts, whom he is very close with, that he is in the right to sanction any kind of incursion that he might make into Lord Ramius's territory.
Well, I know what the right thing for you to do is.
And what would you
But
have
it
me
depends
do?
on, well, you can go to the Baron and tell him the truth. If he's putting out false claims that his brother had taken his child, you're the only one who can thwart the...
I worry that that may be putting our friend in danger if the Baron is just looking for an excuse to go to war. If if the Burkmaster comes up and says the child's here, he's gonna.
You
He's the only one that can prove that the child's all right and that the other one didn't abscond with him.
I need you to understand this. Everything that I am doing is for my family. It is not just this child. My daughter is there. My daughter is under his spell.
Malbleet?
Malbleet. She is not with him out of choice. She has been hexed, and he uses this to force me into compliance. Always, everything that I hear from him is with some threat towards her. I have not seen her in many years. I only live with the hope that she is still alive. And this child is proof that she is, or at least was. I cannot tell Baron Hogwash. They drink together. They fall into their sinful ways together. They are like thicker than blood, those two. Baron Hogwash, he is, if I'm speaking plainly with people whom my fate, you hold my future in your hands, whether you do something with this information or not. I do not trust him. He's not objective.
I fear the only way, and
The
this is
Baron...
just my thought to prove it, would be to bring the child before the Baron, Malbleet, and the public, to prove to everyone there's no reason. Otherwise, it sounds like Malbleet would just suppress all the evidence and the information, because it sounds like since they've split the kingdoms, he just wants the whole kingdom for himself. I don't know that for sure, but it just seems that way,
Well, and the child is gone. I don't know where he is. I have looked. I can find no trace of him. Like you say, he just disappeared.
Well, that's good for you, actually.
In a matter of speaking, I suppose, but I loved the boy. I wanted to help him. He was my only connection to my daughter that I had.
What way could he have escaped physically with nobody seeing him? I mean, this is a young child, I presume. Age of the child, 10?
I think so. 10, 11, 12, in that range.
But you would think with as many servants and everything else that you have, that somebody would have seen him attempting to leave.
Well, could be a spellcaster of some kind. It could be faerie just looking to torment me. You said it yourself that you thought that the fairies were trying to make a fool of me.
Would it be possible to see the attic where you kept him
Of course.
and take a look and see if perhaps there was some evidence left as to what may have happened?
Yeah. So he'll take you up there. So he takes you up to the second floor, and there's a little trap door that when you pull it down has like the staircase that descends down and allows you to access the upper floor. And you get up there, and it is pretty cozy. Old furniture with sheets over it to protect it from dust and whatnot is pretty much the space that you're looking into. Pretty cramped and whatnot. He'll like point out, like, over here I had a little bed for him and such, and it's like all been cleaned up and everything, and all evidence of the boy having been up here has been taken away. There's no windows or anything that are up here. Really, the only access point would be that trap door.
And there are no, I'll ask him, there are no secret means of egress from the attic?
He would shake his head no.
You got any company up here? Any like pets?
No, I gave him a little toy for comfort.
Yeah,
It was
I mean,
it was still here when he was gone. I have since disposed of it, but I was the only one that knew he was up here. I brought him his meals. I did everything for him.
And you say that entrance door to drop the stairs down, that was locked.
I was the only one that had the key.
And when you found out that he was missing, that door was still locked.
Yes.
Seems like magic of some sort.
I'll do it, start searching around to see if there's anything. I mean, this is like cold trail stuff,
Old
but
trail, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Topsy, you're the...
I would say even looking around the house, too, if there's eaves or anything on the roof, if there's any, You know what I mean?
Let's see. I'm gonna roll something to see if you find anything. You scour this attic. You are checking around on the outside as well, maybe for visually, just to see if there's anything out of sorts. You find nothing that strikes you as unusual. No evidence to suggest there was anything left behind or manipulated by whoever is responsible for the disappearance.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like we have any clues as to who, why, where. It's sort of a dead trail.
Well, and I would assume that the magics to remove a child from a locked room, that I would assume that is very powerful magics, assuming
No
that
way.
magics were deployed, huh?
Unless somebody was able to unlock the door, open it, leave.
Relock. No, I suppose that's true.
Do you keep any house cats, Burgmaster? Perhaps they might know something.
He says yes. There are 2 cats that he keeps.
Do they often go up here at all, or they just wander about?
They wander a bit. They wouldn't have ever been up in the attic, but they, roam about the house.
May I speak to them?
Meow, meow, meow.
And then
What?
he kind of looks at you, and he has to sort out, you're making this absurd request, but he has to process. Oh yeah, you're a Grimalkin. Maybe that's a thing that you have. He doesn't have a lot of experience with you. So he calls out. He's like, "Is that Flint Steel? Where are you?"
Cute.
And eventually, an orange tabby cat kind of strolls into the. And he's like, Flint, here, have at it. Meow meow meow.
Topsy would pretty much kneel down as well, and then all you hear from her is the obnoxious cat noise, and she will communicate in mule, which I believe, if I read it correctly, mundane cats can understand and speak.
Sure. So it just says, "I'm hungry."
Hold on, let me see if I can fix that, and then she'll go into her little back pocket, which is her just casting her spell, and then pull out a little piece of fish, set it down.
Starts eating it.
Hi.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, no problem, mate. I'll tell you what. So we have a bit of a predicament. This your Burgmaster, he seems to be a little bit upset. Did you hear anything about he has some sort of attic problem or something?
Attic problem.
Oh,
Used to
yeah.
be some like a bleeding. I used to hear up there meh.
Oh. When was the last time you heard that?
It's been a bit.
It's been a bit. That's a real shame. It was probably a lot of fun noises. Did anything seem weird when it stopped? Did you see anyone that's not normally around the house?
I didn't see anybody, but I heard a second. I remember I heard another kind of sound.
Oh, a second one. Wow, that's crazy. You want another one? And she'll offer another piece of fish. I'll
That's
tell you
good.
what. Yeah, I know it's the best. Well, you did a great job in telling us a lot of stuff here. You can go about doing what you need. Also, maybe you should scratch up the pills just a little bit.
I know exactly the one. Goodbye.
Bye. What a respectable fellow. He told me something really interesting. So, what he said is, there was one bleat from the attic, but wait, get this. There was 2 this time, and then they stopped.
So a second distinct bleat.
Oh yeah, he was very adamant about it.
So some other Breggle was present.
Maybe when you bring that up, the Burkmaster will say, maybe it was Shub's Nana.
Oh,
Shana na na na.
Shub's Nana. There's a folklore about an elderly goat folk who whisks away children, unwanted children, typically, I think is how the story goes.
Unwanted?
Well, it happens, and it is said that if you repeat this phrase, I will not repeat it here, but if you repeat a certain phrase, that she will send her fairy servants, her goblin servants, to come and take the child away, to be brought to her.
Did the kitty say whether it sounded like a female or a male bleat, or just a bleat? Another bleat.
well, it's kind of hard to, it's a bleat. It's like if I were to meow at you and you couldn't tell.
I couldn't tell originally.
So you had heard this rumor before, I'm pretty sure.
I feel like
And
we have.
Shonana sounds familiar.
Yeah, there was some dolmen stones knockoffs or whatever that were outside of town that had it was supposedly kind of like a place to bring Shabnana Inn, right? This is the Lily Glablet. Lily
Yep.
is the
Lily. Yeah.
Uh,
Lily
Yeah.
Glably.
yeah, and that's what you repeat. Apparently, Shabnana comes, but the dolmen stones are. I think it was stated that they were fake, more of a like a tourist trap thing or something. If I'm
Yeah, I
recalling
think so.
correctly on that.
Someone had said that. Yeah.
Yeah. But we have noticed that in Dolmenwood, legends, folklore, things like that tend to have a tinge of truth. So
True.
I would normally say, oh, Shub-na-na, whatever. But this child did seem unwanted and was in some sort of way. I wonder if there is some sort of truth to this Shub-na-na legend. Where were those stones that they said you could summon Shub-na-na?
East of town before we.
Was it distant from us?
It's like
No.
it's basically in town. Like it's on like the edge of
Yeah.
town.
I mean, could it hurt to try to summon old Shub-na-na and have a convo?
Well, if that were to be a place that people could have false information as far as those being fake. You could have a particular stone there that is legit, and they built up other ones around it that could be, a portal of some kind. I mean, it maybe wouldn't hurt to check out there and see if there's any evidence that the child was taken and made its way out there.
I mean, and guys, if this is just me chasing down something you guys aren't interested in, let me know. I don't want to drag you into something you don't want to be involved in.
oh no.
No,
This
I'm-
has some merit.
I mean, the Burkmeister's still here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you
won't
guys
say.
have left or anything like that.
No, I won't say what I was going to say with him there. I like a puzzle and a mystery.
And we've had experiences in the past that really anything could be possible. Topsy.
Yeah.
Uh,
How can I be of service to you, oh great Friar?
stop. You could just call me Friar. It's fine. Whatever. Topsy. Maybe I don't know. I can't really. Maybe talk to the other kitty before we leave. That's all.
Oh, sure. What do you want me to ask them, Friar? Whatever.
That's fine. That I don't know if they've seen anything else. Seems we are going out to the Dolmen Stone.
Sure, if you want me to. And then she'll yell out and mule, calling for Steel, I think was the other cat's name.
Yep. And like a graying cat, gray-haired, rather thin cat enters into the room.
Well, how you doing, old timer? And then she'll conjure up a piece of fish.
Winter's coming.
That it is. My fur's already starting to get all frizzled. I'm not a fan of it. Well, tell you what. You talked to your wonderful companion Flint about some happenings that have been going on here, about a mysterious second bleak going on from the attic. I was wondering if you've seen or heard anything else of the sort. Just between us.
I heard witchcraft spells being cast.
Oh
in the
my
attic.
goodness. How terrible.
Yes, but it is gone now. You are safe, my friend, here in my home.
I thank you greatly, Steel, for your undivided attention and guidance and safety in your house.
Yes.
Well, I'll leave you to it. Thank you. I feel well protected knowing that you're around.
Yes.
Also, if you know a spot where there's any extra rats or something, let me know.
Yes, down in the cellar is a good spot.
Ooh, I
I'll
might
take
check
you
it out
down
later.
there if you want.
I will join you in a moment.
Okay. Good luck
And then,
to you, adventurer.
Well, I thank you.
He leaves.
So, it might not be your little witch fella, or actually it might be a witch. There was some witchcraft that he was describing to me. Some sort of magic words. He seemed very wizened.
Witchcraft?
Yeah, a hollow blue, like the thing you were doing almost, but kind of not really. Fire, whatever.
What? Did they say who? Did they see?
No, I think he had a hard time seeing.
Oh, okay. The kitty.
Well, also, the Burgmaster did say there's no one allowed up yet except him, and I mean, he's just a cat, so it's a little difficult. There's a whole trapdoor there. Can't really, reach it.
Right. Witchcraft. I mean,
Well, that's just how he described it. It's probably just like your magical wizardly,
Yeah, it doesn't rule out Shabnana.
it doesn't.
It
Right.
does rule out somebody unlocking and relocking the door, sort of. It makes it sound more like either somebody teleported in, absconded with the child and teleported out, type of thing, which could be either some mage or it could be a fairy, right? Maybe.
Well, there was the bleeding part, the second bleed, so probably not a fairy.
So if we use deductive reasoning,
Uh-huh.
we can deduce that most likely it is some sort of Breggle magic user.
Excellent
It's
detective
supposed
work.
to be music. Come on.
Very good, brother.
So Breggle magic user seems like perhaps Malbleet has absconded with the child himself, or somebody associated possibly.
That would explain the name.
I mean, there's a big jumps, but I'm just saying. Are you guys with me?
No, it's
I follow
very.
you completely 100%.
Seems
Yeah.
to me like Malbleet may be the type to use the child as an excuse to go to war no matter what. He probably left the child out in the wood or something, and like I said, I fear that the only way since what was the other guy's name? It was
Remius?
Hogwarts or something.
So there's
Hogwash.
Baron Hogwarsh is the human.
Hogwarsh is his buddy, and so unless we can come up with the child in some sort of public setting in front of Hogwarsh and the public to say no reason to go to war, here's the child, it seems to me that there's gonna be war unless something like that can happen.
Yes, very good, brother. Impressive, even though it really could be. Maybe it's that. I guess we'll find out as soon as we go down to the Dolmenwood. But it is something to think on.
What do we think
the
next?
Dolmen
step is
Stone.
to head to the Dolmen Stone and try to It was something about summoning Shabnana, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I think maybe we try to summon Shabnana.
So it's probably
Go
about
from
like noon or something like that right now for you guys. You probably spent a couple of times you were, sleuthing around. You were scoping things out. It's taking you some time. Is that what you want to do just now? Is go to the stones on the edge of town?
Can you summon her during the day? That seems summoning Shabnana seems like something you have to do.
Preferably during the day.
What are her working hours?
All right. So you guys are heading to these stones.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So you'll head out to the standing stone circle. Sun is directly overhead. It all feels totally wrong to be trying to do some kind of weird ritual or whatever you're doing, and you stand in the middle and you repeat this phrase and nothing happens. You can see the edge of the forest is just out a couple 100 feet away from you. Birds are chirping, sun is out. It's still kind of chilly. There's like kind of a breeze. It's it is autumn and everything like that, but you just feel like a bunch of like 8-year-olds that heard something about Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, and like you're saying this in this like very cheerful, bright scene, and like of course nothing happens. But
Superstitions abound.
Yeah.
We could try again at night, at midnight, at the witching hour.
Oh,
Is that what you guys would like to do?
I mean, it seems a little ridiculous, but
sure.
All right. Are we good with fast forwarding to this moment?
so it can feel even more ridiculous.
Yeah.
So it is nighttime and nobody is abound in the town. So now it's like different feel. Like it's like that almost like we're getting to Halloween kind of feel. The leaves have dropped and it's chilly a bit. You have to like grab like an extra layer of clothing or whatever to feel comfortable as you're waiting out here by the stones for this moment to say these words. And I don't know. How do I resolve this? You say the words as you're standing beneath what kind of moon do we have tonight here?
A waning
A waning moon?
crescent.
Oh my god. Okay, so you say the words I was like, I'm gonna say it's a 1 in 6 chance, and I rolled the 1. So
Holy.
so you say these words, and for a moment, it's just like before. It's like, you're looking around, like you're not really exactly sure what you're expecting. Of like, poof, some Bregel overlord is gonna like appear and whatever. But then you kind of sense, like your senses just tell you that there's something emerging from the woods, and you look over in that direction. Like there's like a rustling or something from the thick foliage.
No fucking way.
I'm not an idiot.
Oh,
Use the brains, it seems.
we haven't thought this through. Oh no, we're not prepared for this.
Never thought it would work.
And
I think
under
the most surprised person is Geoffrey. This is probably the first time one of his lame brain schemes has turned out.
So from the forest, as you're looking in that direction, you can see 7 distinct forms kind of all appearing. And they are these lithe, hairless, silver-skinned creatures that look vaguely goblinoid. Like they've got pointy ears and big noses, and they kind of got like kind of hunched over lithe frames, and they're lurching out, and they're all drawing daggers.
I do.
And
this.
I'm gonna roll to see like what their reaction to seeing you is. Okay. So they start to like kind of move, and they like encircle the stones. They're all like inspecting you. They're like not rushing towards you, but they're like, and one of them says, "Hey, where's the baby? You need to give us a baby.
You have to give you a baby.
That's the deal. Here." And he's like holding up a pouch, and he's like, "We've got the money. Where's the baby? Come on! You're wasting our time here, guy."
Yeah, sorry. We are here for information. We do not.
Information?
Yes. Why do you need babies? Why did we not expect?
You said
this?
the words and we came. That's the deal.
I mean, you did say the words and they did came, so I don't know what you expect to hear.
You're just out here fucking around, saying words you don't know what they mean.
That is correct.
We get this all the time, you jokers.
Well, listen. We don't have a baby, but do you want money? Because we want information. We might be able to trade you gold for information.
No, we're trying to give you money for the baby. Is what we want. Do you know any babies in town?
What do you need the
name a baby,
for?
we'll take it.
Do you know what might is cute like a baby?
What? Is this a riddle?
Topsy. Just kidding.
Oh, you were gonna give him the size of a baby? Does that work? Listen, has anybody given you a? Oh no, damn it. Okay.
What's your favorite snack?
How can we?
Yeah. What's your favorite snack, baby?
You don't know that.
You got any smoked sausages?
I guess he'll go forward. She'll go forward. Why not? Like, it's like, all right, hold on 1 second. Can I see your hands for a second? Boop, boop, boop. And then sausage will appear in each one of their hands.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Well,
this
have
was
you
worth
taken-
the trip, I guess.
Have you taken any babies within the past, 2 months from this town? You see that really, really big house over there?
Uh-huh.
You been in there recently?
No.
No. Do you think your boss may have?
Oh, no, maybe. What, you want me to tell you what do you know about our boss?
Well, I know if you say their words 3 times, you appear, so that's a great start.
Okay. All right. Well,
Not much.
Not much. Good. Well, we're not going to tell you anything. Thank you for the sausages. No thanks for not having a baby. We got to get back out there. There's unwanted babies all over the place. You don't have no idea.
What do you do with the unwanted babies? You give them a home?
Yeah, we give them a home. Real cozy like. It's real nice.
Aw, that's so sweet.
Yeah. We're doing a
Really?
good thing.
Is it only babies? Or do you take children as well?
We're only allowed to handle babies, this crew here. We don't know anything about once they get to like 2 years old, it's out of our jurisdiction. There's like a different crew that does that.
But there is a crew that does that.
Yeah, I guess. I think other she-goats, not
Hey.
us.
She-goats, huh?
Hmm.
How do you get in touch with them? Is there another stump to
I'm not telling you any more words. You just abuse it.
Attention.
Just keep pressing 0 once you say, the word. You'll get to an operator.
She-goats.
So the goblin just kind of looks to the others and says, "All right, boys, we're out of here." And they just kind of start moving towards the tree line to go back the way that they came, biting they're eating their smoked sausages as they go.
Well, that didn't quite work out, but it sort of did.
We know that the incantation of sorts is real.
Or what if it's like they're just waiting just on the outskirts, just waiting for some lucky person just to say it, just to surprise them? It was just like whole sheer coincidence.
This is a horrible thing. I'm just realizing all this is quite horrible.
What are they doing with the children? Who are bringing them the children? We didn't ask them how much money they were offering.
What? No, brother. Why would we? That's not the question that we would ask.
Just curious, like, what is, like, is it a thing that desperate families do, or is it something that, like, you have a child and you're like, this could be our ticket? Sorry.
Either way, it's disturbing.
So yeah, but it doesn't help us necessarily figure out where the Briggle child is. It sort of leads us back to that Malbleet or some sort of faction of Malbleet maybe absconded with the child.
So I think you've got some things to mull over, but you're all exhausted, and so I think it makes sense you'd head back to the inn. I'll deduct another days of lodging, like after the game or whatnot. You've got plenty of money. Is it cool if I keep taking that out of the big bag of gold that you've got, Geoffrey? So yeah, we'll progress to the 6th of Reed Rhyme, and you're waking up to a very familiar scene of the proprietor putting out some goods. The old man is there playing his game like he always does, and then you meet back up.
All right. So what's the game plan here?
Well, y'all have indulged me in my little thing here, so I'm cool to go with whatever you guys think the next best step is.
Yeah, I mean, we're chatting with low-level Berkmeister guy, and I mean, he's given us information, but you're actually talking about one of the upper lords of the area. I mean, I don't think we're in no position to go and demand any answers from his place. I mean, I don't like the idea that he's got this guy's daughter as kind of leverage and all that kind of business, but I mean, who the hell are we? If war breaks out, I don't want to be anywhere close. I prefer to be elsewhere.
We say that we forage on to High Hagel?
Hi, Hankel.
High Hankel?
Hi, Hanko.
And if fate puts the child or the fate of the child or something in front of us, then we take that as a hint to, try to get involved. But other than that, we just go towards where we were heading and let it play out.
Yeah, I mean, High Hankel is still like part of this particular kingdom, right, or whatever.
Yeah,
So.
it's like the capital of the High Wold. So it's like this, the High Hankel and the Baron would report to the Duke, who claims the entire Dolmenwood is a part of the duchy.
And High Hankel is where the Baron is.
That's where the Baron is.
Okay.
And then underneath that power structure, you've got the distinct kind of houses of Lord Ramius and Lord Malbleet, and that's like their power centers, like further subdivide the High Wold.
So yeah, we may find ourselves embroiled in this story again down there, or we may not. I say if the child is put into if fate brings the child into our path again, I think we should try to, that we should use that as the sign to get involved.
Sounds good. So the group is waking up this morning, and your agenda is to head south along the road, trying to make your way to High Hankel.
Before we do, I want to have a gift for Fluffy McFluffin stuff on the road.
Sure. What are you thinking?
What was the legend again?
Basically, that you need to have some offerings for King Pusskin if you're going to travel along his highway.
Yes. I'm gonna ask our friend Topsy what he thinks King Pusskin would enjoy the best.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, everyone likes all sorts of things. I never personally met the guy. I mean, I like a ball of yarn, much like the next person. It's gonna be great for knitting. But I don't know if he's really much of a knitter.
Maybe we'll do like a gift basket that has some like food, some fish, some milk, and some yarn.
Okay.
That's a great idea.
Let's just say that like getting all of that basically costs you like a silver piece to acquire everything.
How about you, friend Topsy?
Yeah. Friar, whatever. What do you need?
Yes, Fitzpatrick, or whatever.
Friar, whatever. Fitzpatrick, got it.
Are you ready for the trip? Yeah, I mean, it seems you're wise. I will give you that, and
I aim to be.
everything. If you're with us, he's going to look at like your weaponry and whatnot. It's you're ready then.
Well, if you're asking me if I'm all set for like equipment wise, oh, okay. I mean, I haven't had my good stuff in many years. Let's just put it. My bow broke not too long ago. My armor rusted. It wasn't all too great, but I can use whatever, just as long as it's more my size. If you want me to be like big old Sir Knight here, I mean, I can do that too. Or if you want me to be like Lillibeth back there, I mean, I can do that as well. It's just there's not many, smiths that make stuff for, a little tricky.
Should we, before we head out, should we go into town and see if we can get him some gear, some Grimalkin size gear?
You know what is intriguing me right now? And like, he'll look towards like, I think Thomas has it. Like, I mean, one of those seems pretty cool. And like, she'll gesture towards the big old shiny swords you have in your back. I mean, they're a little itchy, but I could do that.
And as you're pointing that out, I just want to say thank you so much to Old Sundown for the raid, coming in with a group here. Thanks for hanging out with us. We're playing some old school essentials this morning. We'll throw a shout out to you. Hope you guys had a good game. Thanks for stopping by.
So you were saying you want some of my gear, or you want gear like mine?
In short, she would describe that she can use any sort of equipment, weapon or armor-wise, as long as proportionate to their size. So no, as cool as Silver Set would be, a little too big for her, and she'd be gesturing more towards your pure iron longsword, saying that she could use it.
Did we ever find Shank?
Oh, did he have some of our gear?
You had your two-handed sword that Silver had.
He would have given it back.
All right.
Although who is carrying it, I guess that's important.
I guess I can carry it on my back.
So, I guess just a point, like, if you're going to be doing things in Lankshorn yet, it's going to cut down on your able to travel.
Well, and I think
We could probably get better stuff in Hinkle.
Yeah, I would think High Hinkle would have more equipment sized for Grimalkin than maybe Lankshorn would.
So just to drill down on travel mechanics and things like that, because we're going to try to pull you guys back into the game part of this and the process. Given your movement speed is going to be pulled down a little bit by your heavy armor wearer in Sir Geoffrey. So essentially, you, without applying any penalties or modifiers for difficult terrain and things like that, you can basically move at 2 hexes a day. If you're on a road, that's bumped up a little bit, so you'd be able to travel 3 hexes in a day. And you're given to understand that if you hit the road right away, you could probably get to High Hinkle, barring strange things happening. In a given day, you can also spend 6 miles of movement to do like a search of a hex, and that is how you might be able to find secrets. And many, almost all of the hexes have things that you can delve into and drill down on.
Well, I guess the question would be, do we book it straight to High Hinkle and try and get there, or take a little bit of time
to explore on the way?
Yeah, because it's straight south, is that right?
Kind of southwest.
So
you said that there's some things that we know of to explore on the way?
Probably not that you know of. If you are asking around, people will tell you that road pretty much just cuts through a lot of farmland. Like, it takes you outside the forest, so you'll be on an open, very open road flat plains. So I'm not suggesting that there is necessarily things to drill down and search along this road, just that is an option for you to pursue.
I mean, I'm down to pursue it if anything pops up, right?
So
If you guys
like
want-
if you're imagining what that means, like if you're spending time searching the hex, you're like leaving the road. You're wandering around in that terrain, intentionally trying to search or find points of interest.
Yeah.
So it's very unlikely that it would be like you would not run into like the hint that there is something there probably isn't going to be apparent.
Right. I mean, we're saying that if we book it, we can get there in a day. If we explore each hex and take the time, what are we talking? Spending a day or two on the road?
Yeah,
Camping
probably
2 nights?
3 days, because each hex you'd be spending part of your time searching that hex, and so you'd be like kind of probably going one hex basically at a time.
What do you think? I think that sounds kind of fun. If you guys are down with that, it could open up some possibilities, possibly, or open up some investigations, and stuff.
Sure. Yeah, I think
The
I'd
only
be.
thing we have to lose is getting injured or having a bad camp, and if that's the case, maybe we have a bad camp and we book it to town.
I think I'd be okay with that, and it would give me, if we're moving at half speed, then it'd give me even ample opportunity to kind of forage a little bit more. So I'd be okay with going a little slower.
All right, so you're going to start to head out from Lankshorn. You're taking the southern road, and it is still morning. There is this kind of chilling wind that is sweeping over you, and kind of cuts right through your clothing and such. And so you're kind of bundled up. You're trying to keep your body heat in and stay cozy. And you're making your way through the countryside. Very familiar scenery. You've been out in the farmlands and such, and so you're seeing this kind of this weave of the farmers' lands and their different properties kind of overtaking and little farmsteads. Probably still some of the folk out tilling their fields or harvesting what they can of the autumn crops. And while you're still, it's only maybe a few miles south of town when you come across something kind of interesting. There seems to be almost like a side track, like a really tiny kind of dirt trail that leads off the main highway that you're on. And there's a sign there that reads the Aberthony Animal Orchestra. And this is like painted in like kind of cheerful, almost like circus-like font in like red and gold. And like there's smaller text underneath that says, "Witness the foremost marvel of the high wold." And there's an arrow that kind of points up that side road.
I've never seen an animal orchestra, have you?
No.
Well, I don't know about you. Are me intrigued?
I mean, if we've decided we're taking our time on the way down, we might as well stop and check it out.
I mean, if we have to, I'd say it's so far that way. Maybe it's getting a little late. Maybe we could just, go and visit it. What do you say, Friar or whatever, Fitzpatrick? Sure.
I'm up for it. Seems interesting enough. Thomas?
It's intriguing.
I'm sure the
Okay.
animals don't have the same skill at the instrument as you, but
There was a Grimalkin that was pretty good.
Oh, there was?
Yes.
what was his name again?
It was on a bridge
Yeah.
near
I had
the
to
lake.
battle him.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
he
I
did
might
like
know
that.
the fella you're talking about. What was his name? Jaspy?
I think that is correct. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Tail.
I think you're referring to Dandy Bristlewith.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Oh.
Jaspy was
We would
killed.
have said yes. Yeah.
Yes. You bring up that name, everyone kind of gets
I don't know.
I mean,
knew him.
somehow-
Very small guy.
So, group wants to follow this sign that's like off the side of the road, like follow this to the giant peanut, like
yeah,
little
world's
tourist.
largest ball of yarn.
Sure. Okay, so you follow that, and it kind of winds a little bit around the hill. It had obscured what you come to find this like big barn is where the road seems to lead to. There's kind of a barnyard around it. There's some clucking chickens that are kind of roaming about inside a little penned off area. some cows grazing, and the doors are, it's daytime, so the doors to the barn are flung open, and you can hear like all this like music playing. And
What type of song is it? Is it like a waltz? Is it like a march?
yeah, a little bit of a waltz. You can hear all sorts of different instruments being played, flutes, trumpets. There's some percussive noises happening, some stringed instruments. It's very kind of, upbeat.
But what do you think, Thomas? How do they sound?
How do they sound? I ask as I loosen my my Phrygia flute in its little leg holster.
Yeah, these are this is the people that are behind these sounds are clearly well practiced, and it is an ensemble that complements one another. They seem well practiced.
They seem pretty good.
If you like, I can go and check it out for you.
Sure.
So, Topsy, you go to move ahead and you take a peek.
Before I get there, I will switch into my Chester form, which is that of a good old fat barnyard cat.
Okay. So if you go as a cat, kind of checking it out, you'll see that like kind of near the barn doors, there's a hunched man in his 50s. He's got kind of a little bit unkempt, parted hair, and he's got kind of a lazy eye. His good eye, he kind of keeps on this orchestra that is playing, and you see, let me read through this real quick.
You're just building
Dozen
tents.
cats, canaries, mice, and stoats are lined up on perches. And okay, I'm sorry. So it wouldn't have been a literal orchestra with instruments playing. It is like a waltz yet, but it is made up of sounds coming from these different animals. So you got cats mewing, there are canaries chirping, there are mice that are squeaking, and there are stoats that are lined up and making whatever sound a stoat makes.
Total misplay.
Little screeches. But like somehow it is working, and like it complements each other, and it's impressively synchronized. And you also see that there are some oil paintings that are lined up along the walls. There's like this big, huge oil painting of 3 panels that you can just kind of make out. You'd have to probably get up closer to see the finer points of it.
I'll approach a little closer.
You want to go inside the building?
I guess I'll, my cat form, I will turn around towards the group and do my best to like just sit and just do a little cat shrug and just waltz in.
Okay.
Oh,
As you approach, this man kind of gives a grin when he sees you. He says, and he's got a big gold tooth. Hold on there, kitty. And he grabs you and he says, yo, you got lost, little buddy. And he like just scoops you up and he starts petting you.
That's right, buddy. And like he doesn't understand I'm like speaking in mule.
Oh,
So like a lot of cat noises, see if he picks up on it.
do you purr?
I mean, if you want me to, Mew Mew.
Pretty good. I think
I think so.
oh no!
the 5th chair there is getting a little weak.
Oh, his head's sore.
And he's gonna like take you and like move you like closer to like where all these animals are perched up, and he's just like kind of, he doesn't understand anything you're saying, but he's like kind of giving you the tour a little bit, like, you want to be a part of our gang, friend?
Hey, fellas,
some
how's it
music.
going?
And they're all like, making their music, and they, the cats maybe kind of stare at you, but like, they continue kind of mewing and creating this music.
I'll play along.
And what are you doing?
Probably like as he's probably like holding me, like, don't you want to be a part of this group or something? And it's like I'll probably like start trying to converse with the cats and say, what's the whole deal with this? This is kind of unique.
And they're continuing to sing, and like they kind of give you an annoyed look that you're trying to talk to them while they're, singing and performing.
Oh, I should wait for the chorus to finish. My bad. Continue.
All right. Anything that those of you outside are going to be doing during this time?
What?
Like all you would have seen is this guy at the doors scooped up your friend and took him inside, deeper inside.
I'd say we move up to the doorway.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And start walking up.
So as you guys approach, he'll put Topsy down, and he kind of hobbles over, and he's like, welcome, friends, one and all. I hope you are just in time. Well, allow me to introduce myself. I am Barrett Margleman, and I greet you. I welcome you. The cost to see this extravagant performance is but 2 silver pieces each.
I'll reach into my pouch and hand him a gold.
Okay, welcome. Come, right this way. And he leads you inside where you see these perches where all these different animals and birds in cages, and the rest of them are like on these little platforms, these raised platforms, and they're all like standing perfectly, like in this kind of orchestra kind of semicircle kind of formation, chirping and squeaking and whatnot.
When we walked up, was this is this like a homestead where you have a home and a barn, or is this literally just a singular barn out in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, like it's just a singular barn. Like if there had been a homestead here at some point, it's like not standing any longer. No evidence of a foundation or anything. It's just the barn. And the animal orchestra is continuing to play.
How do you get them to do this, Mr. Barrett?
They are well trained. I scout talent far and wide, and the animals, they wish to perform. They wish to allow folk like you to come and enjoy the beautiful sounds that they make out in nature, but here they get to do so in unison. And together they make these beautiful songs. It's quite remarkable.
It is quite remarkable indeed.
Yes, do you have like a request list where I could see perhaps, or is it they just perform?
You've got a request? Sure, let me know. An old hymn, perhaps.
I was thinking something more upbeat.
Okay, so he'll take your request, and he turns to look at this orchestra, and he's got a cane in his hand, and he starts kind of doing the conductor thing and keeping the time, and they are able to emulate that song that you request of them.
Very nice. Na, 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 da. I'll kind of hum along. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Oh, very nice.
Meow, 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 meow.
So,
Looking around this barn, do I see other animals in the barn? Or
Nope, it doesn't seem that this is being used as a proper barn or anything like that anymore. There's just like kind of rows of seats for people that might come here on occasion to listen to the music, and it's been kind of turned into this performance hall a bit.
How do the animals look? Do they look like mistreated at all? Are they like scrawny, or are they well fed?
No, they look well fed. The cats, their coats are nice and shiny and full. The birds look plump, and yeah, they all look very like better than the average pet.
They're not being exploited against their will, it seems.
Maybe a bit exploited, but it seems like they're okay with whatever arrangement that they have here with the orchestrator here.
Possibly they've unionized. You never know.
Yeah. Yeah, and at some point, like you're hanging out here for a number of songs, and then he says, "Okay, time for us to take a brief intermission here," and like all the animals kind of, disperse a little bit, and you can see like he'll go and like he kind of gives a little bit of like individual attention to each, petting them, or with the birds, gonna maybe stroking them, their gruff around their neck.
Yeah, I mean, I think Geoffrey's gonna, it's been a long time since we've had a day or a night where something wasn't trying to kill us or we weren't trying to kill something. And this is kind of whimsical. And I think he's going to give himself to the experience and just be like, if you guys want to sit here all day, I am cool with that. He's enjoying Topsy's performance on Fifth Chair. And yeah, things are all good for once in Geoffrey's world.
And of course, the backdrop to all of this are those oil paintings, which
Have we seen what's on the oil paintings?
maybe the friar might, like, as he's kind of humming along,
And maybe as they take a break, he'll look to the back to look at the oil paintings.
Yeah, they do not match the whimsy and the beauty of this scene. They almost seem like they're maybe 3 oil paintings that like tell some kind of story.
Something to do with like animals burning or anything like that.
It almost seems like unrelated to the animals because there isn't really anything about the animals. The left panel depicts an old woman cloaked in white who stands in the woods with 3 silver mirrors. And there's a gigantic russet-colored serpent coiled at her feet, so I guess there's a snake involved. The center panel shows the same serpent in a great body of dark water, its head raised out of the waters in ecstasy. Sheer cliffs loom above it. And then the right panel shows a gaunt man cloaked in black who stands on a bleak hilltop, holding aloft one of the silver mirrors that was in the first panel, and he is trampling upon the russet serpent. The serpent is now blindfolded. And there is an inscription beneath the panel, beneath the 3 panels, but none of you naturally speak this. I think, Thomas, you've got a talent that could potentially read this, if you want to give that a try.
It's 60%, 12. So 12 out of 60.
So I think yes, right? Like you got a success.
Yes.
It's good.
Nice.
Take a sip of coffee before I
Be like,
read
"Run
this.
for your life."
There we go.
All right, so it reads Husky Imbala, Merc Mother, Dream Dryger, Scrift Glasses 3, Shant We with Thee, Abranthani Droon, Dwim Master, Kin Grafter, Swart Glass He Stole, Imbala NW Wrote. I will copy and paste this and just put it in the
I was
Foundry
writing
here.
it down.
Much obliged.
Yeah, I'm going to look back at my notes and I'm like, was I having a stroke when I was writing this?
Yeah. So I think you're getting the sense something about this is tied up with some kind of Droon lore. But I think, Thomas, as you're making this out, you don't think that this is written from the perspective of a Droon. And I think you're probably, as you're working through this with, you're piecing this together, the meaning of it probably doesn't make a lot of sense to you, but these words are witches can't. I mean, maybe we can say that the way that you're figuring this out is through maybe using the black book a little bit to make out what these words are.
Oh boy.
But maybe we'll keep it somewhat mysterious in that there are words in here that you don't understand the deeper meaning of.
Right.
It does lead us to believe
Interesting.
that maybe not everything is what it seems here, possibly, or is exactly what it seems.
Right.
I think Barrett Margleman might come over to you. He'll notice that you're looking at these paintings, and he's like, how does this make you feel? Should I keep them, or
Where did you get them?
they were just always here?
Where? I guess let me ask you this: Where do you live in this barn, or is your home somewhere close?
I stay in a tent some distance away.
How did you come about being, or finding this barn?
It was abandoned. I've been here for a number of years now. It seemed the perfect place to bring my... We used to be a road crew. We'd go from town to town, but this is a very well-traveled highway between Lankshorn and High Henkel. We get better business here now. I've kind of cleaned up the place a bit and made this our static performing hall. These paintings were here. I don't know exactly what they mean. They're kind of a little bit unnerving, but I figure maybe it's a little bit of an attraction. I think it has something to do with, I think that's a Droon. He's pointing at like the last panel.
Yes.
But it's sort of, it doesn't fit with the whole vibe of what I'm going here, but it seems a shame I haven't found anyone to buy them. I don't know. What do you think? Keep or leave?
I would keep them. I think they're actually kind of a hidden treasure.
Okay. I thought so too, but I didn't really know how to appraise them.
Do you know anything about who made them or anything? Or did they just always been here, you said?
It's just always been here. Maybe a Droon lived here. I should say that. I should put that on the marquee. There's no way of saying that a Droon didn't live here.
That would be a draw.
Maybe.
Have you ever noticed any, kind of hidden back somewhere, any mirrors or anything?
No, I haven't.
Have you looked? Have you done a full cleaning of this place when you took over? Or?
Yes, I did. I did. No, there wasn't any treasures or anything really of value other than the paintings, of course.
And did you hang them up, or were they always up?
No, they were always up. They needed a bit of cleaning and such, and I've taken care of that. And fortunately, not a lot of restoration work there. They still hold up. Their colors are still there on the canvas.
Have you looked behind them or anything?
No, I suppose not, but they seem quite affixed to the wall. And these are big panels.
And there's 3 of them.
Yeah. Even if he wanted to get rid of them, or
is like, there's 3 mirrors. There's probably 3 mirrors in these paintings somewhere.
Right. It could be canvas over the mirror or something. I was thinking.
But how to inspect that without offending this guy? Does it look like the paintings? Like sometimes, when canvas is pushed or pulled over something, you could see signs of, something kind of pressed up against it. Is there anything like that? Or did it just look normal?
they look normal. Best you could tell, it doesn't seem like they're concealing anything or that there's a hidden cavity behind them.
Yeah. You could just, if you don't mind, and the Friar will just go and knock on one of the paintings and see what it sounds like behind it.
It sounds not unusual.
Okay.
Seems solid, and he's gonna be like, you have fun with looking at the paintings if you like. I'm gonna get the band going again. He notices there's like a couple other travelers from the road that have just stepped up, and he's like, oh, 2 silver pieces, and he's gonna go and deal with them.
While he's off collecting the coin, I like to converse with some of the orchestra members
Okay.
and say, well, this is definitely a place to stumble upon. How'd you find yourselves here?
And they'll just kind of share with you they had heard about this place and that they could get well fed and have a roof over their head, warmth in the winters, kind of word of mouth kind of thing. Like all of them have their, I don't know, like little stories about how they came to find this man. And that's seems like the deal. They're trading their talents for the comforts of being taken care of.
Well, he seems like a pretty swell guy. I mean, I'll say this is definitely a first, but if you're having a good time with it, I won't stop you.
Yeah, they all seem happy with the arrangement that they have with him.
Fortunately, I won't be your 5th seat. I kind of got to get going with these fellas back here, but it's all right. You guys keep doing you. Yes, you have a grand time.
This comes as some relief to the kitty cat that is the 5th seat, as they were worried that they were about to get booted from their their comfy spot.
Don't worry, darling. You're doing a wonderful job.
So is there anything further that you would like to do here? Or would you like to get back out there on the road?
Yeah, I think I'm intrigued by these paintings, but don't know what to do any further. So it seems like getting on the road's the thing to do. What do you guys think? Something is ominous about that place for some reason to me.
Yeah.
But what you gonna do?
Well, take notes. It would seem that Imbala is the name of perhaps a witch, what I'm gathering from this. Albrathon is the name of a drone. I would say that at some point, if we ever run across a drone again or a witch, bring those names up.
So looking at the time, I think we can get through maybe one other little thing that's going to happen. So you hit the road again and continue to make your way. The road goes kind of straight south before it starts to turn to the southwest. And probably at about, we'll say like 2 p.m. or so, they spent a little bit of time there at the barn. You will see kind of like as the road turns and bends from going south and starts heading southwest, you'll see that there is a kind of gloomy shrine that is like underneath the branches of the trees. It's very weather beaten, but it is open. So kind of like a pinnacled roof over it. And it's a little shrine where there's an altar on the inside. And there is a portrait there of a fluffy cat wearing a plush crown.
Heh.
And then there's like a little table underneath it.
I have a basket for this kitty king. I believe it's some yarn, some milk, and some fish in the basket. I'm gonna place there.
So you step in under the eaves or whatever you want to say of this little shrine, and you can see upon the table there are the remnants of past sacrifices. There's little mouse skeletons there and little saucers that maybe have just a little bit of remnants of maybe a few droplets of now spoiled milk. And so you place the basket right before the portrait of this cat, and there is a inscription underneath the portrait. It reads, King Puskins Road. Travelers upon the road must leave tribute in the form of milk or mice. And so you've got this basket. You had some milk in there, so maybe feeling okay about what you have brought.
Yeah, I feel good about it.
And with that, gonna continue on.
Yeah.
So you
Interesting shrine. I think he would still just be like, this is quite interesting. I'm gonna look. Can I look before we go just to see if it was a different shrine at one time, or does it always seem to just be?
There's no
shrine?
evidence of this being anything related to the one true God.
Mhm.
In fact, the shrine looks pretty worse for wear.
Yeah, seems that it had not been visited in a while. I mean, there was spoiled milk and decomposed mice, so it doesn't seem that these tributes are actually being utilized. So it could be that your King Puskin there, Topsy, is absent or has moved on.
Well, we don't know that. We tend to get around a lot of places. Maybe he hasn't visited in a while. Also, necessarily, he isn't my king, per se. I'll tell you later. It's a little complicated. I think he just gave himself the title, but hey, he's well known.
It's a good racket for milk and mice, if nothing else.
Played your cards right there, Sir Knight.
Well, what do you do with shrines like this? Topsy, do you?
What do I do? I don't know. I haven't been this far south.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's also not my shrine, too. It's King Puskins, It's not really mine. So I don't know. Whatever he wants to do with it. I mean, it could be a little spruced up, but it's what it is. It's still nice. It's nice, right, Friar?
This is. I think the Friar kind of would look back and say, if you don't mind, it just doesn't feel any shrine to things like this. I don't know. He might take a few moments just to clean it up a little bit. Just, just respect for whatever this is.
And Geoffrey will help his brother with that task.
So
Well, I'm glad you said it.
what exactly is it that you are doing? Because it's like there's like a hole in the roof, and like they're to restore it would require probably some materials and paint and things like that.
I'm going to clean off the little ledge that has the portrait and stuff. Just something like
Just kind of like a cursory
there.
kind of dust or whatever.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Neaten it up, remove the old bowls and stuff, maybe.
Okay, you use some of your water maybe to clean out the little bowl, and yeah, okay. You do some of that kind of thing. Takes you 10 minutes or so, and then heading back onto the road to continue.
I think so.
Yeah.
Sounds good. We'll say at about 5 p.m. as you're moving along the road, you will start to see up ahead that there is a very cute thatched roof cottage that stands amid an apple orchard just off the road. There's a sign that points to it with a lady's glove hand holding a doily with lace work, and there's a sign. The sign says the quivering doily.
Sounds very quivering.
Mm.
Do you think that's an inn?
Perhaps. I was thinking that. What do you all think?
I was
Shall
thinking
we
an
maybe-
inn or a brothel.
No.
Quivering.
You rascals.
Heard a lot of euphemisms in my day, but that is not one of them.
Yeah, maybe we can stay in a bed or a room, have a roof over our head.
Perhaps they have some apple-based treats I can add to my collection.
True.
So you want to stop off here and make it maybe your place to rest for the night?
I think so.
Sure.
Thomas will probably be pretty disappointed as soon as you step in because there's a 4'10", actually I don't know, 4'5" woman who is very motherly looking that is scuttling about as soon as she's like cleaning off maybe some dishes from some previous guests that just stepped in for a meal, and she will quickly get you some cider and offer you some apple pie. Like, it's all apple-based goods that you're going to get here. But she will also explain to you that you can get a common room here for, I think it's like a silver piece each.
Is it a large place or pretty small?
It's
or-
pretty cozy. Like, they've only got like one common room for you to stay in. There's a goat that's like roaming around in the inside the common area. But I think this is probably a good place to end with you taking your rest here at the Quivering Doily.
Would I have been able to forage on the way while we're walking around?
You can give an attempt.
Okay. Nope.
Okay. So you'll also be taking in a meal then here at the inn. So I'll take care of that as well. Cool. So that is going to do it for us. Probably in the next session, you guys will continue on the road, and very, very likely, as long as you stay the course, we'll end up in High Hankle, and we will see what business you have there. Finding a locksmith, talking with some of the clergy, perhaps, and
You said there's a thieves guild there, right? Is that-
apparently there's a thieves guild there. So thanks, guys. I think as we close it out here, we will go around and do some gratitude, and this is a point where we end our session sharing with one another something about the game, something about the session that somebody else did that made it a memorable or pleasant experience for us.
I'll throw out to Dawson. I think he's kind of brought his furry little character to life here, and I've appreciated him today, or her today. So
I'll throw it out to Geoffrey this time around. Just love kind of like bouncing off, like he's like this whole what I envision as a honorable knight. It's just also kind of a wacky character still. Is like, what if we go out to summon this Briggle baby snatcher? That sounds like a wonderful idea. Or, how about a little more coin? We were gone for a bit. It's just like not what you expect from a knight, and I just love it. It's just like fun to play with.
Thank you. Yeah, I was gonna throw my appreciation out to Dawson as well. It's your first day with the character, so we're kind of like, or second day, we're kind of getting used to it, and I'm definitely digging the what you're bringing to it, what's bringing to the party. Interested to see how it develops.
Yeah, I think I might piggyback on that as well. I really enjoyed kind of what your character's doing, and all these new things that the party can do because of it. I'm really excited to see what trouble we kind of get into now. And I think I want to also give. Obviously, it's always fun to play off of my brother, because it's always a blast to do that. And Thomas, kind of having this kind of, I don't know, I feel like you have a bit more of the insight, even though, I don't know, you have this like seedy like thing going on and behind the scenes that I don't know if we're aware of, but it really, whatever. I don't know. I think this whole session has been fun, and I think I enjoyed a bit of just like exploring. I think that was a lot of fun. Very kind of. It was fun to go through a hex. It was nice.
Yeah, we don't really we've been on missions kind of in the past for a while, so it feels kind of interesting and fun to be without a direction.
take a little breather and explore
Yeah.
a little bit. And we're really not,
Free
right?
range.
We're totally still like sticking to roads.
Yeah.
But it's our definition of exploring so far. We're keeping it safe.
The answers to everything are off the road. Someday we'll get them off the road. I would say my gratitude probably goes both to Dawson and Ryan. I liked Dawson's use of the Grimalkin powers to talk to the cat. You probably can see now at this point that there is no defined plot that you're going to follow, right? Like in my mind, the whole mystery behind where did the kid go is sort of unsolvable. But I think through the use of your ability, Dawson, you maybe did find some clues that eliminate maybe some possibilities and open up others. So like I don't think you're that much closer to an answer to what happened, but maybe someday these pieces will come together. And I enjoyed Geoffrey's bringing in the let's try to summon Shub's Nana. Like that was kind of fun to like, and then like I told you, I only gave it like a 1 in 6 chance that this was gonna happen, and that's always fun for me when like the random thing happens. So I like the goblin interaction and the whole negotiation. Where's the baby? And it could have been a combat, but like they just were exhausted and fed up with you, so that was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Awesome. I think that's everything from us. If you're listening to this on the podcast, I think I'm going to say that this is probably the last one that I'm going to edit as a podcast to be on Spotify or iTunes or wherever you get these, or Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to it. But that doesn't mean like it's not over. It's going to continue to happen. It's just it's a big time commitment for me to edit them down into a format that I can upload to my podcast hosting site. So I hope if you've been enjoying it that you will come and find us on either Twitch at twitch.tv/20sides every story, or you can always watch these on YouTube, and you can listen to them on YouTube as just an audio only format. So if you're listening to them on the car or whatever, you can still do that through YouTube, but they'll just be the longer form. You're going to hear the entire thing without it being edited. So just know that. So as always, come and join us in our Discord server. Our community extends beyond when we are live. We're always in Discord chatting and talking about games that we're playing in, and we even invite you to be a part of our community and play in the games with us. We've got signups for our community campaign. That's a 5e game. Possibilities, though, in the future of adding things that are non-5e. And we've got games that are happening all the time that aren't even in that format. I know we've got Gabe has been running some old school basic expert rules games. We've got Dungeon Crawl Classics happening. We kind of try it all. So definitely join us in our Discord server. The link for that you can find in either the video description of what you're watching or in the podcast information. You can click on that. Or if you just want to hear me say it, you just type into a browser discord.gg/20sides every story, and that'll give you an invite to come into the server. So come and check that out. All right, I think that's it for us here today. Let's see, who could we raid this morning? Who's on? Looks like the Goodman Games people are doing something. I'm not sure what that is, but we'll go and say hi to them. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.